Free Love, Part 2. Really don't know that I'd let her come back. My heart still says maybe, but my head says F no. Don't know how I'd ever be completely comfortable with her again after all she's said and done. She begged me not to get a go with OM for a bit. I thought about doing something stupid, but he doesn't deserve any more attention from me. If she wants to leave and go shag a pill-popping, truant community college student in his 30 seconds with a psycho baby mama, more power to her. Funny thing is, he's been turning down her requests to go out. He got what he wanted and doesn't want her drama. Or he's just scared of me and waiting till I'm out of the picture. Either one is fine by me. She bragged to him I don't have to pay child support. He said, that's cool, I guess. So today STBX and I went to the bank and signed our consent decree and got it notarized. Now it sits on my desk until the 60 days is up. Can't file until waiting period is over in this county. 60 days is up on Valentine's Day, which also happens to be my birthday. Haha. She's been apologizing profusely for the timing. I ignored it. Then I asked if she would take the day off work on B-Day. She said she could. I said good, because I need her to watch D6 so I can go out. So last night after story time I was singing a few songs to put my D6 to bed, part of our daddy-daughter nightly routine. Keep in mind her child psych told us not to break news of the out-of-state move yet, to let her process the D and mom moving out for a bit. She interrupted and said, Dad, now our family is going to be more cut up than it already is. What do you mean cut up? D6, you and mom will live in different houses. Yes, we will. What do you mean more than it already is? D6, everybody else lives out of state. My big extended family is a few states over and STBX is estranged from hers. I asked how she felt about all this and she said it would be nice if we all lived in the same place. I said we can't all live in the same place as mom just got a new apartment. D6, what if we moved out of state and mom stayed here? I'd miss her more, but I'd get to see listed all her cousins all the time. So sad, but I think this is good. She's already thinking about it without us saying anything, which will make the news of the move easier to process. Earlier in the year we were discussing moving there as a family, so that's probably what planted the seed. My daughter is so awesome and smart. Best thing I've ever done. For that I will never regret my marriage, and I will always resent my STBX for giving up. Her move-out date is set and she still hasn't packed a thing. I continue 180 but had to reserve a moving truck and buy boxes simply because she hasn't. Maybe she's thinking she can pack everything and move it all on set because I'll help. And I will, but for two reasons. I can't have her here any longer the way she is, and it will be good for D6 to see us cooperating through the move. I've packed a few boxes with D6 so she can feel a part of the move, but hate the fact that STBX seems to be relying on me to do it all and taking my help for granted. I have plans to go out Sat night after the move with a good friend from HS that I haven't seen in years because STBX hated that he's a ladies' man. And I gave in. Stupid. He's a fitness instructor and single, and I need that kind of friend right now to kick my butt into gear with fitness and adjusting to single life. Should I keep packing her crap? If I don't, I feel I'll have to do it all set anyway. That or she'll get overwhelmed and try to push the move date back, which will cause more tension that D6 will pick up on and disappoint her as she's really excited to go see their apt and stay with mom that night to help her unpack. Well, D6 and I now have the house to ourselves. D6 is returning today after first 2 nights at mom's. Thought it would be good for her to get familiar with the place and help mom unpack in order to feel part of the move rather than it being something that happened to her. Been very busy shopping to replace things. Bought a new bed, pillows, new pots and pans, etc. Still a lot of things to do. Little stuff that I am trying hard not to let bug me too much, like deep cleaning the master bath that was left less than clean, rearranging furniture to balance out the empty voids, restocking the pantry and fridge, etc. I removed STBX from my Facebook yesterday. It would be a good place to swap D6 pics, but will be too tempting to go over her profile and see what she's been up to and with whom. It's none of my business anymore, and vice versa. Email and snail mail will be just fine for photo swaps and be more fun for D6 anyway. Received 11 texts from her yesterday, most in one day since I can remember, including one at 2:30 a.m. this morning. Going to politely respond today that I'd appreciate 0 late night texts unless it a D6 emergency. I previously told her of my NC wishes, so she is slipping info about D6 into nearly each one. Most don't ask me anything at all, just describing her and D6's day, etc. I'm replying to those, but just acknowledgement of D6 portion. Short and to the point. No filler but not rude. I just got an email from STBX's elderly grandparents. They have requested that I make the 5-hour trip to their house so they can visit with D6 before I move with her out of state. I need to think on this for a while before deciding whether or not to respond, and how. They cannot travel due to health reasons and recent hospitalizations. The codependent nice guy in me wants to do it, but the new man I am becoming is saying no, loudly. On one hand, it is telling that they have asked me rather than STBX. On the other, it is no longer my responsibility to maintain their relationship with their grandkids. that falls on the STBX's shoulders. I have plenty of responsibilities of my own, taking care of myself and D6. Maintaining a career. Prepping the house for sale and getting ready for the big move. If STBX wants her grandparents to see D6, she should make the trip when she has D6. If not, it will not be a big loss for D6. She's only met them twice anyway. Had a talk with my boss and gave him a brief overview of my situation and need to relocate and adjust my hours to take care of D6. He responded, "Our company isn't going anywhere. This is just work. Take care of your family. We'll adjust as needed." Then found out, due to a billing error, my next 6+ IC sessions are already paid, and I have been chatting back and forth with a really pretty, funny 25-year-old woman online. We have a lot in common and she loves Tom Waits. That's a good sign. Might have to meet up with her this weekend and grab a coffee. Feeling good. And here is the proof in the pudding. As soon as you start being happy and moving on, that is when the WS reaches out. I sent STBX an email the other day about informing D6 of our impending move out of state. Child therapist recommended we wait until after the holidays to let her process mom moving out first. I need to start sorting and packing things, doing walkthroughs with realtor as soon as possible in order to get the house listed this time next month. D6 will have more questions, so I think we need to sit down with her this weekend and discuss the move. It might be better to do it at your apartment on Saturday when I drop her off, so she can spend time with you after, rather than bam and you're out the door for a week. She responded that Saturday is good. Then she sent me the following at 3 a.m. this morning. Maybe I'll regret sending this to you at all. I don't know what I hope to accomplish by sending this. I guess I just want to tell you how I feel without interruptions or whatever. I think that maybe you think this decision was easy for me. It wasn't. It isn't. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I never thought things would end up this way. I never thought I'd feel so done. I hoped for years that you would pick up on my emotions. I hoped that you would turn off the TV instead of being mad about my interruptions. I hoped you would recognize when I was asking for help, even if I didn't know how to articulate myself in a direct way. I hoped you would appreciate my ability to let you distance yourself when it seemed like you needed it, even when it was killing me. Maybe I should have spoken up more, but you always seemed like the type that would resent that you would see that as me being controlling. You've always done your own thing, and I didn't want to hinder that. I never wanted to stop you from doing your thing, even if it hurt me. I wanted nothing more than to make you happy, to please you, to keep your house nice, to raise our kid well, to make you want me around. But for a long time, I haven't felt like you always want me around the way you did in the beginning. I felt like you've been more comfortable retreating into your own little world, and that you liked it better there. I contributed to that for sure. I'm hard to deal with. It's easier to retreat than to deal with me head on. I know that, but enough retreat feels like abandonment. Jewelry and flowers don't make that feeling go away. If anything, it makes it worse. Like actual interaction should be able to be replaced with things. I don't give a crap about things. I wanted the closeness we used to have. That feeling of being special we used to give that to each other. It went away over time. I regret that. I wish we could have held on to that. Sometimes I wish I could still be 19-year-old hell yeah, wife. I wish I could ignore the feelings I'm having so that I can still be around. D6. Every day, I miss her terribly, more than anyone I've ever missed. The thought of you two, moving, kills me every day. Every day, I'm losing a part of my soul when she goes away. I know it's probably best for her, but it's a hot knife to my heart every time I think about it. When she's a teen and gets sick of your hometown, please tell me you'll at the very least consider letting her live with me. I already feel like a piece of my heart has been cut out of my chest, and she's not even gone yet. I've not been dating or going out. I've been reading and keeping to myself. I did not leave you for another man. Understand that. I've got a lot of work to do to become a healthy person. I've always been damaged. I'm sorry you thought you could fix it. I think subconsciously I thought you could fix it. You were always so calm, so patient. I thought I could absorb that calm, that patience. I thought if I played the part of perfect wife really well, I'd just become the perfect wife. If I ignored all the churning crap in my mind, that it would go away. The chaos in my head can't be fixed that way. Things have just compounded over the years. I wish I would have gone to therapy a long time ago. Maybe we wouldn't be where we are today if I did. I have a ton of regrets. Tons. You have no idea. This isn't a decision I came to on a whim. It's been building in intensity for a long, long time. I should have spoken up, said something, but I was afraid that I'd be dismissed. My fear of your disapproval is huge, believe it or not. I felt terrible at that marriage counselor appointment. I expected to feel something other than I did. It made me feel even more done than I did to begin with. I felt like you only wanted to make an effort because crap was dangerously close to finished. Like you only wanted to make an effort because I was already checked out. That made me sad and angry, because none of my warning signs, cries for help, or anything else mattered. It took me saying I wasn't in love with you anymore for you to give a crap. That made me feel even worse. That's like hitting the brakes when your car is already plummeting over the side of a cliff. Maybe my signs weren't clear. Maybe I didn't articulate myself well enough. I wish it didn't take impending doom for you to want to make an effort. I wish you had seen the signs before I felt like it was a lost cause. I always imagined us being together forever. I also imagined us feeling the same way about one another as we did in those early years. But that clearly changed. Maybe that's how marriage works. You eventually give up on the spark. You resign yourself to the fact that you have a lifelong roommate. I didn't want to exist around you. I wanted to exist with you. I wanted to feel special. Wanted. I'm not saying I've been the best wife or mother in history. I've failed you both on many levels. I'm incapable of dealing with a lot of things in a rational, normal, healthy way. I have a short temper. I have problems seeing things from others' points of view. But damn, I've tried. I've tried hard. It might not seem like it, but I have. I wish things were different. I wish I dealt with things differently. I wish that you reacted to things differently. I regret being so ugly with you when we had disagreements. I regret not being able to be the wife you thought you had. I regret you not being the husband I hoped you would be. I say that because I knew how you were from the beginning. I knew you were distant. I knew you existed inside your own head most of the time. I knew you weren't very demonstrative with your emotions. I guess I hoped you would be different as time went on. And expecting someone to change for your own happiness is probably the most selfish thing I ever could have done. Now I've written this huge letter. It's all disjointed and tired. It's late. I'm honestly afraid to send it to you. Terrified even. I hope I can muster up the courage to send it eventually. I want you to know how I feel, and I can't say all this face to face without breaking down. I'm bawling right now, and it's only a notepad document. One day I'll find the courage. I'm so sorry I let you down. I never meant for things to end up like this. I never wanted things to end up like this. I never thought crap would go this way when I said hell yeah. When I proposed to her. I'm so sorry I've hurt you. You have no idea. That's the last thing I ever wanted to do. Took D6 to her IC appointment this morning. STBX showed up, surprising as it was at 8 a.m. and if you can remember she wouldn't even get up to see D6 off to school a month ago. We went in to give IC a quick rundown on D6 since last visit. It turned into a full hour IC session for STBX with me sitting in. This woman is good. She picked up on all sorts of stuff right off the bat. STBX pushing us away in order to give us a free pass away from hell. Flat out told STBX that it was faulty logic and would only result in me and D6 being almost completely out of her life for good while she remains in hell. She told STBX that while her intentions may be good, D6 will never see this as a gift from her mother. She confirmed that it was a good idea for D6 and I to move, but strongly and repeatedly told STBX that she should do intensive therapy for a few months and then follow us in order to be closer to her daughter, and that if she doesn't STBX will end up finding abusive men and turning to alcohol to solve her problems, and her daughter won't want much to do with her as she gets older. Quite a few times STBX was told, of course you feel that way, but you are wrong, followed by a reason. Went on like this for almost an hour and then she explained, right now this is your daughter's therapy. We then exited and D6 went in for a bit. IC told me after that D6 opened up much more this time about her sadness. Which is good. This last week she's been having a hard time, crying in the shower, etc. Poor kiddo. I hope some of this gets through to her mom. For her sake. On a lighter note, a female friend from my hometown heard I was coming back and reached out to me. She wants to reconnect as soon as I get back. She's single now with a daughter a little younger than mine. Looking forward to it. I plan on listing the house this time next month and then moving as soon as it sells. If the sale keeps to the 40-day turn average in my neighborhood, that will put the move at end of March. I'm hoping for sooner, but would be nice to not ask a low list price in order to sell it quickly. I'm becoming more comfortable in the house alone and D6 can use as many setters with mom as she can get before we leave. It is frustrating that I can't make a set date for the move, but relative to recent events, not a problem. I'm trying to keep focus. I let yesterday's events add a bit of haze though. I've been falling into the trap of trying to anticipate my STBX's actions from now until the move rather than living in the present. But maybe a little anticipation isn't a bad thing as long as I see it for what it is and use it to prepare myself. If my simple email about setting up a time to discuss telling D6 of the move generated such a long-winded response from her, I wonder how she'll react to the session yesterday. There were a few other things discussed that I didn't write about previously. The IC asked me in front of STBX, "You probably still feel love for her. Is that correct?" I replied honestly, "Absolutely." IC then asked how I was doing. I told her I was doing well and going to weekly IC sessions of my own. She asked what I was working on. I said, "Moving on. I'm working on rebuilding. There is nothing more for me to do." I did not look at STBX to see how she responded. I think that's a good sign. Just got my STD test done. Results in a week. Well, I just got back from the ex's apartment. Dropped off D6 and spent about an hour there as we had to break the news of D6 and I moving out of state soon. It went well. The ex asked me to step out on the porch so we could discuss our game plan before having the discussion with D6. She asked what we should say. I told her the reason was up to her as it was her relationship with D6 in jeopardy, not mine. She stated that we need to reinforce the positives of the move, cousins, grandparents. I told her that's the easy part and a given. How to plan to answer D6's questions about why you are not also moving. Again, her infamous answer, I don't know. She said she'd been thinking on it for weeks. We sat in silence for a bit as I waited for a real answer, refusing to offer the solution for her. For me, the silence was completely comfortable this time. I just sat, relaxed in the patio chair, looking directly at the ex the entire time. She couldn't look at me for very long without fidgeting and diverting her gaze. She then spoke. How do I explain to D6 that I'm crazy? She's too young to understand that. I replied, that's up to you. If you leave it to me to answer her questions, I will tell her that you don't want to move. I don't, but if I tell her that, she'll feel that I don't think she is important enough. I replied calmly, no answer is going to be good, but you need to decide your reason and be honest. If you tell her it is because of your job, then she will think your job is more important than her. She then deflected and told me, you need to eat. What are down to now? 135. Lower. I replied, that is not your concern. We are no longer friends. You fired me. We have nothing to discuss but D6. Sorry for being concerned and caring about you. Me, I can take care of myself. What are you going to tell D6? She then gave up on the conversation and went inside to start the discussion with D6. We all sat on the couch with D6 in the middle. I started the discussion and broke the news to D6. Informed her that we would not move until after her birthday and we would all celebrate her B-Day together. Explained that after the move she would see mom much less, but she would be able to call and Skype her mom as much as possible. Reinforced the positive aspects of the move, which D6 was already talking about. She's excited to be around my family more. Explained we'd be alternating holidays and mom would be coming to our new location to visit as much as she could. Reinforced the usual, not her fault, mom will always be your mom. We both love you and that will never change, etc. We asked if she had any questions and she did, but they were trivial. B-Day, house sale, dog, etc. She didn't ask about why her mom isn't going. The ex lucked out. For the moment, after, as I sat on the couch and waited for X to gather a couple things for me. Some items that were mine. I inspected her app more closely. Almost all the decor she has put up are things I gave her as gifts. Anniversary gifts on the bookshelf and counter. Framed, vinyl albums I'd searched garage sales for her. All the art that she'd hung are things I found for her for anniversary gifts, birthdays, and just cause. We're both big art lovers. Even the curtains she chose to hang. This all reinforced my belief that I have surpassed her in detaching. While in her app I kept noticing her staring at me, but quickly glancing away when I looked at her. I was content and smiling much as the time as I was happy D6 was taking it well and excited about the move. Not 10 minutes after I left, I received a text from her. Something about D6's dolls. I did not respond. Today is a good day. I received 6 emails from X last night. Really wish I could ignore them all by not reading them, but many are often about D6. At least it's better than the late-night phone calls and texts that were waking me repeatedly before. She was begging me to take down the cheater vile post, even though I already did. For me, he didn't break us up. We broke us up. I broke us up. Still not fully holding herself accountable yet. Hopefully she'll get there in time. For her sake, I do hold myself accountable for the things I've done and not done. It's the only way to avoid repeating unhealthy patterns and behaviors. I tend to see myself as more honorable than most, when oftentimes it isn't true and blinds me to my errors. I bottle things up and am not assertive enough. I have trouble saying no. I try to fix others in order to boost my ego. I often am too apathetic in order to avoid dealing with my problems. But I will work through these things, rather than around them. Just had my real estate agent over. Good news and bad news. The bad, I cannot close before the first week in May or will have to pay back the first-time homebuyer credit. So, no relocation until end of April. More time alone with no family support. The good, house looks great. She recommended not putting any money into it other than a few hundred for curb appeal, pruning. Add a few flowers, touch-up, etc. Shouldn't be a problem getting offers within 2 weeks of list date. D6 will have more setters with her mother than previously expected. D6 and I will both have more time to heal, inside I see and out, before adding the stresses of an interstate move. It will be warming up in new location, less chance of snow during our travels. D6 will get to finish up most of the school year here with her friends. During our in-house separation, it was nearly unbearable to see her, to hear her voice, to smell her after she'd walked down the hall. But it is much different now. While she and D6 are laughing with each other on the speakerphone, I can chuckle now too. I can sit with X and look her in the eyes and smile at things D6 has done or said. I can remain composed and focused on communication techniques when she is disagreeable or insulting. Most of the time, still working on that one and don't plan to stop working on it. My kid amazes me and inspires me daily. Saturday, we told her about moving out of state. Wednesday, she broke down saying she didn't want to go without her mom. Tonight, she was singing in the shower and then repeated that she doesn't want to go without her mom, but immediately followed it up saying that she does want to go to be closer to our family. They truly are resilient. There's nowhere to go but forward. Just as expected, at the last minute X says she doesn't have to work tomorrow. Said she does have to work next Saturday, but didn't ask me to watch D6, just assumed. I told her that due to our mutually agreed upon parenting plan, she is responsible for D6 on the weekends. I said I am willing to be accommodating and consider helping her out when I can, but only if she asks. Last night was terrible. While putting D6 to bed after she came back from her mom's, she broke down crying. She told me how mad she is at me because I'm the one who decided to cut up the family and I don't want mom around anymore. It devastated me. I did my best to comfort her and she asked to speak to her mom. I called her and they talked for a few minutes and she repeated most of it to her mom, who did nothing to set her straight, simply tried to calm her down and told her she loved her. I got D6 to sleep. I broke down. Then I got angry. Because this happened right after coming back from her mom's, I assumed X must have said something to her. I texted her, "What the hell are you telling her to make her think this is all because of me? I've done everything I can to not put blame on anyone. Have you done the same? I should have just dealt with it and let it go." If she said anything to D6, it is in the past. If she chooses to say anything else to D6, it is out of my control. It's so hard to focus during moments when you're filled with hurt, fear, and anger. I desperately want to tell D6 the truth, but I do not want to jeopardize her already fragile relationship with her mother. I don't want to cast her mother in a negative light as she will already have abandonment issues when we move away. D6 and I have plenty of time to work through her issues with me, but she will not with her mom. She has asked me if I miss her mother. I told her every day. She has asked me if I ever cry when she is at school because I miss her mom. I told her that I have. She asked me if it was before or after mom moved out. I told her both. She has asked me if I wanted to get divorced. I told her no. This is why it's so hard for me to believe that she has come to the conclusion that it's all because of me, without her mother saying anything to lead her there. After our joint counseling session, she started by saying all she wanted was separation. She expressed a desire for me to be open and vulnerable with her. So I was. Told her I never wanted D, and how hurt I feel. I talked about the baggage from my childhood that I brought into the M and how I let her down emotionally because of it. I apologized for hurting her. I said her actions and dishonestly completely surprised me, but I understand how and why she did it. Without accepting blame for that part, I said I'm trying to reach a place where I can forgive her so I don't carry anger with me as I move on. Told her I am not doing this in an attempt to but for me to heal. I told her if she doesn't want to be with me and would rather be with someone else, I love her and want her to be happy. So, she should go be happy, because I will not share her. She sees will not share her as possessive and controlling, like she is an object. So be it. She switched her tune and told counselor and me repeatedly and forcefully that D is set in stone, a fair fog in full effect. She asked for openness and once she got it, she was repelled. D is set in stone and she now say the house must be sold, 180 from last week. But she wants me to reconsider leaving state with D6. I told her as a man I have no reason nor incentive to stay. As a parent I have no family or support system. I said it would be great for her to be close to her daughter, but she is here right now and I have her for 2 weeks straight. If I were to stay and this continued, it would not be better for D6. It would not be better for me either, as it would be very difficult to be anyone other than D6's dad. Plus, me staying out of hope that X turns herself around when she is doing nothing to prove she is willing would be completely codependent. I conceded that I was willing to consider staying, in state, if there were drastic changes very soon. Counselor suggested she change jobs, shifts. She balked at the idea. Of course, she did. She still works with other men. Fog. Day 4. Stopped at gas station on way home but did not buy any. Sticking to it. Counselor spoke of D6. Said right now she is stuck between two ideas. Either dad is a jerk or mom is abandoning her. It is easier for her to blame me, and because she does, she is losing trust in me. So, it would best for mom to set her straight, not me. It would be best for mom to tell D6 that she wants us to move away to be closer to our other family. The worst case scenario would be for both our relationships with D6 to be damaged. If X does nothing soon, I will. Is a good first step that I'll be taking regardless of what else happens though. By the way, I'm pretty sure the cute girl at Subway with the plastic gloves fancies me. She waves and rushes to be the one to help me when I come in. She knows my sandwich. I catch her looking more smiley with me than other customers. Always waves when I leave, but boy, she looks young. Maybe early college. Oh, little sandwich maker, you fill my belly and your smile brightens my day. Living in this house without her isn't that bad. Take away my temporary emotional roller coaster and it's much better. The kitchen is always clean. My daughter is more polite and well behaved. My daughter and I discuss feelings more. The dog listens better. There are less bills. There is less clutter. There is less laundry. I am drinking much less. I am not smoking. I am exercising and doing yoga. I watch less TV. I am reading more. The drains are not clogged with hair. The master bath is not a mess. Grocery shopping is easier. I don't have to eat bad tofu. I can fart in bed. Nothing is breaking. I talk to my family more. I'm no longer hiding anything from them. I'm not lying when people ask how I'm doing. I am no longer pretending to have a perfect marriage. Weeks later, my birthday party. Wow, so glad to have a friend who is a fitness instructor. He sure knows how to throw a B-day party and who to invite. First was a quick stop off at a bar with little people servers. His midget PC anymore. One was completely gorgeous, even at 4 feet tall. Not even kidding. Next went to a club where the 2 best tables were reserved for us. There was a stripper pole in between the 2. The company was me and my buddy with 3 hot sisters and their 2 girlfriends, one of which did not converse with us at all through the night. She was buff, danced on that pole all night long like it was her job. Apparently, she has one at home and that is her workout. No complaints here. Our 2 tables were the life of the place last night. None of these women were the type I'd ever bring home, but man were they wild. Absolutely perfect for the B-day party of a freshly single, self-conscious man. I had a good time. First kiss I've had in months. Even got a phone number from a hot little 22-year-old who might want to go out next week. That was an ego boost for sure. Didn't think or talk about X at all. She'll probably notice the bite marks on my neck though tonight. My comment: hope you guys like this series so far. I've tried to cut down some of the less important details, so be patient with me for these stories. Sub and bell. I need to go out to pick up some stuff and we'll come back with part 3.